let's get started. As I glove up, I can go ahead and sort of explain what's going on here. I've got a couple of license plate frames that I've been asked for. This one is going to be, let me get some tape to that. Let's take my gloves off and tape this out before, I should have done that before I started the video. So just bear with me. I'm gonna grab my tape. Deglove. Luckily, we have a pretty good working time because I've already poured my resin. I've not mixed it yet, so you're going to be with me during the mixing. And I will pop up on the screen. Stick a couple fingers up there right now so I know. Pop up on the screen right now what resin I use. So you can see what resin it is since I've already poured it. Because I do have big jugs of it that I have like pumps that I pump it out. But just hang tight. I'm going to go grab my tape and I'll be right back. Got my tape. I'm just going to pull off some pretty good sections. A couple of maybe 4 or 5 inch sections and stick them together so that I have a larger piece to work with, because this is only like the 1 inch tape. And I really prefer working with this wider tape. But either way, it gets the job done. Let's see. Oh, and I really don't know what's going on with the last video, so I may have to start over with that upload. It is not a resin project, so just so you're aware, it's a t-shirt project. And it's kind of hard to do over here, but all I'm doing is just taking and sticking the tape, and you can see it's pulling up anything that's there. Alright, so I apologize for having to do this off camera. Honestly, I should have done it before I ever started. I just don't want any little stray anythings to get in here and change the way that this is supposed to look. Almost. Alright, here is that one done. I wish that thing didn't stick so bad on that one end. Alright. Get all in the nooks and crannies with this little one. Obviously, I got all in the nooks and crannies of the big ones here. There just aren't as many. So the big one is going to be shaded with some purple. And then we're going to be using a holographic glitter. And the small one here is just going to be, oh no, I got that backwards. Pardon me. The small one is going to be shaded a little purple. And we're going to be using holographic glitter. And the larger one is, get my gloves back on and we can start mixing. The larger one is going to be just the holographic glitter. And if I have leftover resin, which I hope I do, but I actually might not, I have 100 milliliters poured here. So I've got 50, it's a 1-to-1 ratio of that resin. So we've got 50 of part A and 50 of part B. And I actually thought that I had figured out a little bit, actually a lot quicker way to cure this resin, but it's not going to work for me, unfortunately. So I'll just go ahead and explain while I'm mixing what I thought that other method was going to be. And there are a few methods that I've seen, including one guy actually built a little heat room using a cooler and a hot water bottle and a few other items that I don't have on hand anyways. So the other option that I found was I have a dehydrator. And I thought, well, gosh, wouldn't that be the same thing? It's a low heat. And that's what this resin needs to cure is heat. That's actually the reason that the smaller pieces, the thinner pieces, seem to take longer to cure. Because as it cures, it creates heat. And that heat, or as the two components mix together, as they sit together, there's a chemical reaction that happens and it creates heat. And that heat is what cures it and causes it to become solid. I do mix this like crazy, alright? So if you see me over here like, woo, crazy fast mixing, and you're thinking, oh my gosh, you're not supposed to do that, you're gonna have big bubbles. I love this resin for the fact that it self-gases, and I don't get a lot of bubbles, despite the fact that I mix it like a crazy banshee. Anyway, so what was I saying before? This is the problem with me talking through these videos. I start talking and I get sidetracked on another subject, and then I forget what I was originally saying. So y'all just bear with me. Bear with me as I work through it. Oh yeah, the curing process. So sorry, I get a little loopy sometimes. So yeah, as the two parts mix, it creates this chemical reaction that causes heat, that causes it to cure. But there's such a thin layer of it, so little of it, it does not create enough heat for it to cure super fast. Whereas with the bigger pieces, like my skull mold here, that there's enough thickness of it that it creates a lot of heat. And if you pour the entire mold, I have to pour that in segments, because if I were to pour that entire mold at once, it would create a lot of heat, and it would do what they call a flash cure. And when that happens, a lot of times it will kind of explode out of the mold, and because of the amount of heat that it can create, like upwards of 400 degrees, you're looking at a possibility of a fire hazard, as well as ruining the mold. Not that ruining the mold would be as big of an issue as a fire, but you know, I don't want to ruin any molds today. So I try to be careful about how much I pour. I like these little cups here because I can mix up 100 mLs at the time, and that does not create that flash cure problem with this resin. And again, that's that Let's resin with the 1-to-1 mix. And I just have, because I'm mixing up a lot, I brought in 2 smaller cups so that I can mix up separately the colorant and the glitter, putting that in there. You have to mix this for a while. I'm trying to watch and see. It'll be really, really, really hard to see on camera, but there are some little hairlines that show up in it when the two parts are not fully mixed. And you can kind of tell when they have become fully mixed, when you can feel maybe a small amount of heat coming through the cup, as well as you just don't see that hairline anymore. My biggest thing is watching for that hairline. really am not wanting to feel the heat through the cup because that would make me afraid that I'm about to have a flash cure happen. I think we've just about got it. Give it another good mix. I'm trying to make sure I scrape the sides really good. All right. Spoons for adding in my colorant. This is that holographic glitter that we're going to be using. Isn't it pretty? And I'm using the Pearl-Ex powder pigment. Reflex Violet is the color. It's really pretty purple. I'm going to whip out. This one we're going to go ahead and mix in our purple. It doesn't take much of this pigment powder. I like that Pearl-Ex mica powder because it gives it a nice shimmery look. Make sure I'm on camera here. It's just going to take a minute to get that mixed in. I hope the music in the background doesn't get too bad. I did get a little bit of a head start ahead of my normal schedule. Oh yeah, that is looking really pretty. I feel like because this is for the bigger one, I know I'm gonna need more. Let's see. Go ahead and add in some of the glitter. He wanted this really heavy glitter in the front. So I'm gonna add in a good spoonful of it there. And I'm aware that a lot of crafters measure by weight and volume. I add what looks good. Oh man, y'all. I don't even know if the camera's gonna pick up that. It looks so good. Oh wow. Alright. I had a feeling that wasn't gonna be enough, but that's alright. It tastes. Man, that's gonna look so good. I'll only take a minute to mix up a little more. I don't know if I'm going to have any leftover resin. I got some new molds yesterday that I was hoping to get to try out with some excess resin this morning. But, alright, so I gotta be careful to add less of the color this time because I got less mix. And I don't want it to be literally two different sides of this thing. Oh, that color is so glorious. I need that for my car now. Alright, another little. Maybe a half a spoon of glitter this time. Anybody curious about my music in the background? I have a little Google speaker that plays Meghan Trainor radio for me while I work. Oh, that's so pretty. Oof. I might have to rethink my pricing on this because I didn't think about how much it takes. You guys are going to have to learn with me here, okay? That's pretty much what I'm doing, is learning as I go. In case anybody thought they were following a professional. Yep, I'm definitely going to need more. I believe I'm going to have to mix up some more resin to get to that second mold, yo. Actually, I'm certain of it, and I still might not have enough in that cup because I think, if I remember right, it took about 80 mLs to fill that up the first time around. And I just haven't been thinking about that. There we go. Alright, let's get it mixed. Hopefully this is the last pour. Again, I'm mixing like a little banshee over here. And it should not affect the outcome here. This resin is really good about self-gassing and getting all of its own bubbles out. Oh, I can't get over that. It's so pretty. Alright, here we go again. Hopefully, the last pour. Well, that's gonna get it filled right on up, yo. Perfect. Now, going to help with my pricing too, because recording these videos is going to help me see how long it takes to make these things. Get it all out of there. Oh, that looks so good. Now I'm going to come back to this. You can kind of already see how it's, I think you can see on there anyways, how it's kind of pulling to the middle. So I've got this line of glitter across the middle. So I'm going to try to remember in about an hour, it's 10:13 now, so I'm going to try to remember at about 11:13 to come back to this. And I'm going to kind of swirl that around so I don't have a line because of the way that this resin cures and pulls to the middle. I have 30 mLs. I don't think that's going to be enough for this, but I'm going to try it. Also, first I have this ring here that I've been working on for my honey. You see I've already made the two little red resin eyes, and I just have to fill it in with clear. So I'm going to do that really quickly before I get any further, so that he can have his ring back. He's been waiting on me to get this done for some time. And that literally is just taking a couple of drops on the end of my stick there and dropping it in there. It's what would have been left in the cup anyways, is what I think. So, because I need this again, I'm going to go ahead and mix this in a separate cup. Yeah, that's definitely not going to be enough for this. But it's a-okay. I just made that backwards, y'all. This is happened to be for my car. The purple was supposed to be in here. No! It happens! And I just explained that to y'all too, that I had it, whatever. Okay. I'm really mad at myself for that right now. But it's alright. It happens. Some good glitter in there. Ran purple pigment in there. Again, not measuring, I'm just grabbing a small amount. It takes a very, very small amount to get the color in there. But obviously the more that you add, the heavier that color is going to be in your final project. Okay, so whereas this one's got a kind of a lighter lavender tone to it so far. Oops. I need to pay attention to where I'm holding this stuff. I think I'm holding it by the camera and I'm not. And you can see a lot more of the glitter, which that's exactly what he wanted. He wants the heavy, heavy glitter in there. Alright, and then it's going to be a little bit, like if you hold it up to the light, it'll be a little bit sheer so you can, translucent, I think that's the word I want. You'll be able to see through it a little bit. Go for the corners first to make sure that those get filled in really well. Because I know I'm going to have to mix more. Alright. Hang tight with me for just a second, y'all. I've got to go get more resin. There. That didn't take long at all. Now, so I did just get one of my little plastic measuring cups. It's got the lines on it for measuring, because I knew that I wasn't going to need anywhere near the amount as that. So I do want to just go ahead and mix the resin first, and then I'll add in my colorants. And the reason for that is just like I described before, and you may be able to see it a little bit better. In this cup, you can see those little hair. If I get my hands out of the way, you might be able to see those little hair lines in there. I think it's kind of picking it up where you can see where the two are mixing together. I want to see when it is mixed together. So I just went and got another 10 mLs of both A and B. I apologize for doing that off camera. I am just mixing. So like I say, I just went and got another 10 mLs of each because I know that it's not going to take a whole lot more to fill this mold. And I did, you see my little level setting here, I did already check the level of the table surface before I started. Now, one way that I have heard that you can avoid having so much of an issue with the colorants and the glitter and whatnot pulling to the center is to wait. So they say if you mix your resin, personally I would go ahead and pour it into the mold, but that's me because it would be difficult to pour at that point, I think. But if you wait until your resin is, you see how this is pretty thin, it just runs right off. You wait until it's thicker, like honey, or like a really thick consistency for resin. I'm not sure how else to describe that. But if you wait until it thickens, give it about, they say 45 minutes to an hour before you mix in the glitter and things like that, then you won't have as much problem with it pulling to the center as it cures. Ignore my singing, sorry. I forgot that I was recording for a moment. Alright, so you can see there's plenty of bubbles in there now. Alright, but if I were to just set this under the camera and we sat and watched it for about 5 or 10 minutes, you would be able to watch those bubbles surface and pop on their own, and that's what we call degassing. Put that back in there. Now I need to, again, go ahead and add some color. Get my glitter in there. And pigment. Just gonna show you, I'm really just using a tiny bit of this pigment in there. We're gonna, hopefully it's picking up and you can tell that there's really not much on that spoon. Alright, and that's all that I'm gonna put. Alright, now I want to get back to this mixing stick. And stir, stir, stir. I guess I could turn that a little bit so you could see all over here a little bit better. There we go. No, you're right. Lips are moving. matching what we already got going on there. With your tongue and your bass, in the sweet time, say I'm your number one. No, you're not. It's a movie. Alright, folks, I think we're ready to give this a good pour. If you have future project ideas for me that you'd like to see done, definitely drop those in the comments or send me a message. I love trying new things. Perfect. Awesome. Now we wait. Again, that faster curing method is definitely not gonna happen for me. I can't decide if everything's just settling over here or if it needs a little more in that corner. I think that it's because it's slightly uneven. I wonder if I can pull this whole thing slightly. Ooh, see, okay, so here's the thing. When you pour resin, and you're witnessing my mistake right now, okay? It is slightly uneven. And there's not a way for me to show you what it looks like over here. Oh, wow. Okay, so it's definitely, I didn't turn this all ways earlier, and it is definitely uneven. So we have a lot more building up down this way than this way. That's not the case with the smaller one though. So you really should know all this before you start pouring, because right now this is a very liquid state that this is in. And if I move it, it's going to pour out. If I try to lift up the table to put things under the corner of the table or anything like that, it's possible that something's going to leak out. But I still think I am going to try that. I'm going to put a little piece of cardboard or something under this table and see what happens. Yeah, y'all wish me luck. Let's see. What can I find? Slide under there real quick. Very, very carefully. Alright, so what I'm going to do is very carefully lift up on the corner of that table. Don't see anything moving yet. Yes, I do. It's very slow going, but I do see it starting to adjust. So it looks like it's about to come out right here. I know you can't see all this in the video. Here and here, it looks like it's about to come out, but down here, there's not enough. And I can try to pull it and get it to fill in. There we go. That's better. Truthfully, what I would really like is for it to look like it's about to overflow all the way around. Alright, because, okay, so I'm good there, and it just had, oh, see, I love this. So I'm excited, I'm really, really excited to come back in when it's thickened and add some of these little swirls. I feel like my light's kind of taken away from what you can see here, but it's put some little swirls in the purple and in the glitter, and I think it's going to look amazing when it's done. So y'all hang tight, and we'll be back in about an hour to give it a swirl. Okay, so it's not been an hour, it's only been a couple of seconds actually, and I've already taken my gloves off. No judgment, please, please, please. I'm going to try to be as careful as I can not to touch, because I've already had some issues with getting resin on my skin, and I really don't want to do that anymore. But so this leftover bits here, there's a little bit left in each cup that I don't want to waste. So what I'm going to try to do is scoop that out and into these little bear molds that I picked up yesterday, because I'm really excited to see how these turn out. And again, I don't like to waste anything. So I'm just going to try and scoop it out as much as I can. I have no idea what I'm going to do these little bears at all. I picked them up. They were on sale yesterday, and I thought they were super cute. And I couldn't wait to try them. These I actually got out of the cooking section at Hobby Lobby. The one thing you really want to look for if you're buying molds out of the cooking section, so if you're buying fondant molds or something like that to use for your resin, you want to make sure that you're getting one that is smooth on the inside and shiny. Unfortunately, I got one once that I bought it for a different purpose. First of all, I bought it to make lotion with originally, so it's a little frog mold is what it is. And I got it thinking I was going to make little frog shaped lotion bars, and those are really cute, the ones that a couple that I made, but there's a bunch of those molds, and I wanted to try it with resin. Well, I didn't think about, or didn't know very much at the time, I guess, about resin, and I didn't realize that if it wasn't a smooth, shiny mold on the inside, then you were not going to get a smooth, shiny finish to your resin product. So I'm going to go ahead and pass that information on to you now, in case you're thinking about trying to make resin products. I'm just trying to scrape as much out of here as I can. Again, I don't want to waste any of it. I hate wasting a single drop of this resin, because it's not cheap. And these can be anything from, oh, there's a drop. I just wasted a drop, y'all. These little filler things, they can be just cute little charms, little add-ins with orders if I wanted to. I like to use them to fill bigger molds, like that skull mold. I have a couple of different things going on right now, and this might be another idea that I do with them in the future. But currently I'm working on making a bunch of little skulls. If I can get my hands on it, with these little skull molds that I have, and fill in so that I can fill up the big skull with little skulls, and I thought that would be really cute. And I have some canvas leaves molds that I'm using, and I've got a lot of those already made, because that mold is more like this, so I can make a lot at the time, versus the skulls are just this, and I can only make 3 of the slightly bigger ones and 3 of the tiny ones at the time. And because it takes so long for it to cure, I just can't. I can't make a lot at the time, so it's taking a lot longer to get theirs done, to be able to get that one done. But I will be able to get that canvas leaf one done fairly quickly. Alright, anyways, I'm hopping off of here again, and we'll see you back in about 55 minutes now. Alright, y'all, so I am back. Just wanted to hold the camera really quickly so I can get close up and show you what I mean by it kind of pulls to the center. You can see how pretty much all the way around. On this smaller one, there's a line where it has all kind of pulled to the center. It's not as noticeable on the bigger one, but I did stir that one more time right before I walked out of here earlier. So I'm gonna hit pause really quickly and get you back on the stand so that we can go ahead and give these another mix, because it's been about an hour. It is 11:16 now, so let's get it. All right, so I am gonna try not to drop that on the floor. I'm just gonna use the same stick that I was using earlier. Oh yeah, that's thickened up very nicely now. Also, I did climb around under the table a bit more so I could work with it. I'm going to get some nice purple clouding happening in here. I should have grabbed a toothpick. I really need something super skinny to get in there with so I can avoid letting it come out. The sides, I think I'm going to do that. I'm going to go grab a toothpick instead of this stick. I think that'll give me better results. I thought I had one sitting right here that I could use, but I do not. 1 second, I'll be right back. Alright, well, trying to reach in that box with gloved fingers and grab a toothpick, I ended up with 2, so that's okay, we'll have an extra. Oh, much better. Now I can stir my little heart out and I can even try to make patterns in there if I really wanted to. But this is pretty new to me, so I want to see just how it turns out this way. And when I'm trying to make sure that I get it turned over good, and by turned over I just mean I want some of what has settled on the bottom to surface. And you can see kind of what I mean by it's really thickened up, alright? So it's gonna kind of hold that shape pretty good there. Alright. Oh my. Alright, I thought I'd fix my level problem here, but I didn't. Let's see. Get this according to the level. It was level before I left the room. I don't know what happened. It's better now. Hopefully I can convince it to come down this way as I stir. Because we have a lot of empty space down here and a lot of extra up here. I definitely like this toothpick much better than using my stick. However, my stick is easier to float the resin down to the end with. So I'm gonna go ahead and try to stir this down here too. And then I'm gonna grab my stick and try to pull some of that resin down this way. Alright, because oh, my honey's calling me. Hopefully it's not going to interrupt my video recording here. He's clueless to the fact that I'm trying to record a video. I'm gonna have to call him back. Yeah, I can see that glitter has really set on the bottom pretty well. And I like that. I want to see the resin, the glitter pretty heavy on the bottom. Alright, now let's see if we can get this to... That's just glorious. It's nice and tacky. And I don't mean tacky in a bad way. I mean sticky, which is great. I have no idea if I'm creating patterns on that bottom side of the mold here, which the bottom side is going to be the front of the project with these. I'm hoping that I'm creating some sort of pattern in there, but again, this is something that I'm fairly new to doing, so I'm figuring it out as I go. Alright, so I think we're good. And yeah, we'll be back. Let me go ahead and try to get some more to fill in here. I want it to be pretty even around here, darling. Alright, and I think we're good, and we'll be back probably tomorrow morning now is when we'll want to demold. While we're here, I guess I'm going to go ahead and stir these as well, just in case the glitter has all settled to the floor like normal. And the reason that does that is glitter's a bit heavier than the resin, so anything heavier is going to sink. And even the lightest glitter that I have found is a bit heavier than this resin. Hopefully I'm not messing these up by toothpicking them. Alright, so there's that. And we'll be back tomorrow morning to demold. Alright, y'all, we're getting started a little early. It's 9:08, it's Wednesday, the next day. Just as a reminder, for these two projects, we used this holographic glitter. And then we used, if I can get it turned around to the right side, this Pearl X pigment powder in violet. Alright, let's get started. Which did I pour first? I think I poured the big one first. It's probably the least ready to demold because... Okay, so I just want to tell you really quickly too. Remember I said I thought I had learned a different way that I could put it in the dehydrator. The problem was this wouldn't fit in the dehydrator. And the reason I didn't want to do one and not the other was because they were supposed to be for the same person. But now since I've mixed this one up wrong, that one's just going to go in my store. Anyway, I did want to go ahead and try it and just see if it worked. And I will say that it did definitely work. Whereas this one's a lot more solid. This one's still a little more bendy. But both of them are definitely ready to demold. So let's go ahead and get started. Let's see. See if I can just pull that mold away quickly and easily. Oh yeah. Oh, I need to slide all this out of the way so I can just turn it and you can see how glorious. And I guess it was kind of making little patterns in there as I was kind of trying to scrape the bottom to stir it a little bit. I didn't realize that, so I'll have to try and do patterns that I want specifically to see instead of just lines. Oh, but that's so pretty. And you could use that either way. If you wanted that to be the front and you wanted to have more purple and just be able to see that holographic glitter in there, and man, can you see it. I sure hope you can see it in this video too, because it's crazy good. Okay, I'll calm down. I like it a lot. I hope y'all do too. Alright, moving on. This one. Also, I just want to mention too, okay, you want to make sure, I tell you all the time, every time I say I tell you all the time, this is literally my first full resin pour video. You want to make sure that you have a level surface that you're working with. And I'm going to show you right now why you need a level surface that you're working with. So off camera, I kind of had to do a little work yesterday. So I noticed, I came in to check that there were parts of this mold that were very, very, very shallow, and other parts were kind of bulging up out of the mold. So I tried to scoop it around and it wasn't working, so I went ahead and did another pour and poured some on top. But you can see in some places where that's definitely, let's come around here where I can see my camera and see if you can see, where it's definitely raised a bit more. So I'm gonna have some work to do on this one before I can actually hand it over, but that's okay. We will get it there. All right. Oh, yeah, see, like this edge right here where it filled over, that's just because, and it, again, in this same area where it was super thin before, it tried to thin out again and was moving over to the side, because I cannot, for the life of me, even though I have put all kind of things under this table and tried to get it perfectly level, I tried everything I know. You turn it one way and it's level. You turn it the other way, it's not level. You turn it the other way and it's not level. It's more level, but it's still not level. Why is it that I can turn this? Somebody help me understand this real quick. I turn it this way, it's not a matter of this way or this long ways or the other way. It's still long ways either way, okay? But if I just turn it around, now it's not level in a different way, a different amount. It's in the same place on the table. Is there something wrong with my level? It's just a bubble. How could there be something wrong with a bubble? If you know something about that, please help me understand. So anyways, this is definitely a lot more solid, even though it's smaller, and it should take just the same amount of time to cure, if not a little more, because it's smaller. It's more solid because I did put it in that dehydrator for about an hour. So I had actually, to be honest, I waited. I don't remember if it was 30 minutes. It might have been an hour after I recorded, and then I was like, you know what? I'm going to try it. I'm going to put it in the dehydrator and see, does this work? Let me go ahead and grab my little burr tool while I'm talking. I can trim some of this up. So I'm like, yeah, I just want to know, does it work? So what this is, if you're wondering, this is a deburring tool that I bought from Amazon, and it definitely works better for just edging, and getting these little small bits off the edges where it's raised or uneven. But it also will work for those bigger chunks that I need to remove too. So, and if I have some uneven or not smooth edges, I just like to go around and trim that up so it doesn't feel sharp on the edges. All right, that's the goal there. And it's really super easy to use. It works best when your resin is fully cured, which I definitely, for this smaller one, I'm going to have to wait for the resin to fully cure anyway, because I'm going to have to sand it. I hope that I'm not too far off screen. I apologize, the way that I have this set up, I cannot see my screen to know if I'm working on screen or off. So I'm keep having to lean my head around there to look and see. There we go. So it's just got a really sharp little blade on there. It came with 10 replacement blades. And again, I can just go around all these edges with that. And remove some of that sharp edge. There we go. haven't decided, y'all. I think I hate wasting anything. You hear me? I say that all the time, right? I think I'm gonna save these bits and use it as a filler in something. I just don't know when or what just yet. What a mess this turned into. I definitely have got to find or make a much more level surface to work on in this house, because I can't keep having to fix these resin projects before they go anywhere. And I have a new mold coming today. I'm so excited about. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to mess with it for a couple of days. So that means you guys might not see a video for a week. But I'm really excited. I've got a new mold coming today that it definitely is going to have to be perfectly level, because it's pieces that have to fit together and spin, and if they don't fit together just right, it's not going to spin, and it has to be a level surface. Anyways, so that was the demold of these. You guys let me know what you think. Tell me some different colors and styles you'd like to see in the future. If you have ideas for me, I'd love to hear those. I know that my client, this is the way this is going to be facing on his motorcycle, because that is what he requested, was the purple background with the really heavy glitter in the front. So, but I'm still going to take care, because I want where his bolts go through to be smooth and all that. So I'm going to take care and sand this down and top coat it. I will probably record when I do that, but right now I have to go. I asked about an oil change, and the guy said, "Can you come right now?" I said, "No, I have to finish a project real quick." So this was my project. I gotta go get my oil changed. Oh, y'all, I was getting cleaned up and I realized that I just forgot to demold my little bears. So let's go ahead and pop those out of here for you real quick. You can see, okay. See, they still have a kind of a shiny surface, but it's not the shiny surface that I wanted them to have. And you can see in here, it looks like a shiny surface inside, but apparently it's not a totally smooth surface inside, because that's definitely not the look we were going for. I would have loved for it to look more like this, or even this, rather than this guy. It just isn't that smooth, shiny look that I was going for. But that's okay. He's still super cute, right? All right. Next. And we already know he's not going to be super smooth and shiny, but it's just, I mean, it's shiny. You can see the glare on it, but it's not the shine that I wanted it to have. I don't know how else to explain that. It's not the way that it should look if it was a resin mold. Whereas this is super smooth. Inside here, obviously, it's not as smooth. Let's see. Okay, so I came back in and did this one later off camera when I found a little extra resin that I hadn't filled. Actually, it was whenever I was doing a top coat on this, because it wasn't doing what I wanted. It was unlevel and I needed to fill in. So you see I painted in his little feet and hands, his mouth and ears. How adorable. Now it doesn't even look like a bear anymore, huh? Oh my goodness. Super cute. Okay. Oh, and look at it, because I didn't fill the mold all the way. We have lots of extra hanging out there where it hung up on the side. I guess maybe it just wasn't, it was thick resin, I think, when I poured it. You think I'd remember it was just yesterday, but so much has happened between yesterday and now. Like, my pool finally filled up, so I know it's August, but yeah, my pool is finally full of water. So I have finally been able to turn the pump on, brand new pump that we had to replace this year. Actually, we had to replace the pump. We had to replace the liner. We basically have a new pool. So there's that. Yeah, I was able to turn that on this morning. So that's really exciting. Ooh, here's something else you have to be careful with. Sometimes I love when I find these little things and I can just show you. If you don't get it in there just right, or you have an air bubble that you don't notice, in your mold, you'll have a little spot like that where it didn't fill in and now you just have a hole there. You can fill that in. Whenever I do my next resin project, I could fill that in with a little resin, or if I had some UV resin, I could fill it in with that, and that would work too, but I don't have any UV resin. That's something that I may look into for things like that, but again, this is probably just going to be a little filler in something. We'll see though. But anyways, oh, and now that I have my big light on, I can show you better what these look like. So pretty. I love the way that glitter looks in there. Honestly, I like the way that this side looks as well. I wish that it was smoother, but I'm going to take care of that with a little top coat after I sand it. Again, thanks for watching.